Hi, this is Martha Hartney with Hartney Law. I'm also the CEO of Chirp. And today I wanted to answer a question that I was asked about transfer on death or pay on death beneficiaries as a potential estate planning solution. So there are really three ways to avoid court when someone dies. There's joint tenancies with right of survivorship. There are transfer on death, pay on death, or otherwise known as designated beneficiaries, and there are trusts. So all three of those are methods that we can help keep people out of court when they pass away. Joint tenancies are often called poor man's estate planning because a joint tenancy comes with something called the right of survivorship. So sometimes you'll see on bank accounts and brokerage accounts, if you're married, the name of your partner and yourself with JTWROS. JTWROS means joint tenancy with right of survivorship. And it's frequently used to avoid probate when someone passes away. And it's great for that. It actually works beautifully. So frequently you'll see families who own a home or own bank accounts as a joint tenancy with right of survivorship. If one person dies, the other person simply is the sole owner of that asset, as if the first person didn't even exist at all. It's like their candle flame of life is blown out, and the person who's left holding that joint tenancy is now the sole owner. So joint tenancies themselves are inadequate for planning for a disability. One factor in understanding a joint tenancy is that if one person doesn't die but they're disabled, then the remaining owner can't do anything significant with that asset because the other party who is alive can't sign for things. So joint tenancy has some significant downsides during an incapacity when both parties are owning an asset. The remaining party who's left trying to manage the financial asset can't really do anything, like you can't sell a house that's in joint tenancy if your partner is disabled. So joint tenancies come with good sides and bad sides, as everything in the law does. A transfer on death or pay on death beneficiary that people will put on their bank account does give that bank account or transfer that bank account to the designated beneficiary when that other person dies, when the original owner dies. So for a death situation, again, that can work, but there's a downside. And that is the same thing as we haven't covered our bases for disability. If the owner is disabled, we're still stuck without adequate planning to give the family the ability to manage the finances of that person without having to go to court. So we missed a boat there. Also, transfer on death and pay on death beneficiaries can be clawed back into a probate if the probate estate is insufficient to satisfy the debts of the decedent. So it's not always a done deal. Transfer on death or pay on death beneficiaries can be recaptured by a creditor if creditors remain unsatisfied through a probate process. So those are the downsides between a transfer on death and pay on death beneficiary and a joint tenancy. And sometimes it works, actually, when we are absolutely certain that we're not going to have debts after death. We know what the liability is out there, or if the estate is small and a transfer on death or pay on death beneficiary isn't a big deal, it's okay. It's not fully thought out planning the way an estate planner can do for you. That's what you really want an attorney to do, is to really lay out all of these options and see the entire financial and legal landscape all at once and help offer a solution to you. So the third way that we help avoid probate is with the use of a revocable living trust. Revocable living trusts are the Swiss Army knife of estate planning. They are used frequently and powerfully to avoid all of the negative aspects of joint tenancies and transfer on death, pay on death beneficiaries by solving the issue. And the main issue, if you really get down to it, is that we're owning property as a human being. And human beings can not only die, but we can be disabled. We can have strokes. We can be hit by a bus or run off the road on our bike. there's all kinds of things that can happen to our bodies. And then so long as we are owning property as a, sorry about that. So long as we're owning property as a human being, we are leaving ourselves at risk. So one thing you may want to consider is doing more research on the term revocable living trust. A revocable living trust solves most of the issues of owning property as a human being, leaving our assets subject to court proceedings if we die or if we're disabled. And then we do that by no longer owning property as a human being. A revocable living trust is like creating a little red wagon and putting our stuff into a little red wagon and pulling a wagon of our assets. So in that case, we just stop owning property as a human being, and we have an entity hold it for us that we can transfer to someone else easily when we're disabled and easily when we die. So of those three, you'll want to kind of take a look and see what's best for you. If you can afford a lawyer, it's a good idea to get some legal advice, because a lawyer, an estate planning lawyer, and I don't mean just any lawyer, I mean an estate planning lawyer who knows what they're doing, can see the whole landscape of your financial and legal life and offer some guidance on whether you should be using joint tenancies, transfer and death beneficiaries, or trusts. And it's a really good idea to get some legal advice. So look for an attorney that you like, that you can get along with, and who will take some time to explain these concepts to you. Okay, so we are going to pause here because I'm having some connection problems. And if this is helpful to you and you are in Colorado and you want to come and see us, please do. Our website is www.hartneylaw.com. If you're a parent and you are interested in protecting your children and their care in an emergency, please see our website, gocherp.com, and it's spelled GOCHERP.com. And CHIRP means the Children's Emergency Response Plan. Thank you and have a wonderful day.